All right, what is good, everybody? It is 6:35 on December 8th, 2024. I'm going to go ahead and go over December 8th, 2024, the AM session. Today was a little bit of a questionable day because we did have a pretty big trend day. I more so thought it was going to be a trending AM session rather than a full-on trend day, but hey, I mean, you can never predict exactly what the market's going to do. But getting into the morning, kind of what I was expecting was when I woke up, I immediately saw that we had this manipulation right here that took out this previous session H1 low. And once we got a clean move above it right there, I went ahead and marked out my standard deviations as a projection of where I thought the draw was going to be for the day. I do want to note that this isn't extremely necessary, but having the framework of where price is likely going to go is definitely something important to note, as it's going to give you the best framework to kind of gauge the highest probable scalps that you want to take. So in this case, you're going to be taking scalp longs. Those are going to be the highest probable versus scalp shorts. But go ahead and getting into this, the way I marked it was obviously we had this manipulation leg right here that took out this low over here. From there, what I do is I mark out the bottom, the low right there at 3:35 a.m. And then that high put in right there, those last down close candles. That high put in right there, and then that's how I draw my fib projections. And then obviously you can see right here, something I put a big emphasis on is the -2, -2.5 standard deviation. And as you can see, if we bump up a little bit, it aligned perfectly with some session highs, specifically this London high right over here from Thursday. So that's something to note. Usually with standard deviations, you're going to have quite a bit of precision, and it's going to give you a really, really good framework to base upon. So that's kind of just something I wanted to note, kind of how I gauged where, with high conviction of where the market was likely going to go. I did actually post pre-market this exact example. I wanted to, because some people had questions on standard deviations, and I wanted to give them a good example to kind of see in real time of it happening. So that's initially where I started in the morning, and then bumping down on the 15-second. Obviously at market open, we just literally just ripped to the upside quite a bit. Nothing clean, really. We did get a decent setup. I don't know why my mouse is acting extremely weird right now. We did get a decent setup after we took London high right here. However, this is kind of an area where I get questionable because we have taken a session high, and usually when we do take a significant session liquidity point, we do get some form of retracement back into the range. So in this case, I was more so identifying that I wanted to ideally take scalp shorts back into this range. But obviously, if we're looking over at the M1 right over here, I'm going to pull this over, which is what I use for my structure. You can see that we had a 1 minute fair value gap resting right below here. And we get a scalp long right up here. After taking session liquidity, we can identify this 1 minute fair value gap is going to act as a magnet for price. Realistically, in live time, I semi-thought that we were going to kind of close below this and maybe come down a little bit and take out some liquidity points right down here. Specifically, this one I had marked out. I thought we were going to come down there, but obviously you can see we didn't. But in some cases, I would personally take this just because of where structure was. Even though we had this open 1 minute for value gap down here, it's still an okay setup in my eyes. Obviously nothing crazy that I would risk very much on, just because, like I said, this M1 fair value gap is going to act as a draw on liquidity. It's going to act as a magnet for price as price wants to rebalance an area that it inefficiently delivered. So that's kind of the first setup. I did not, Ark and I did not take this trade this morning. We actually were pretty patient this morning because it was a no news Monday. And that's just something to keep in mind, is usually when we have no news Mondays, you can expect conditions to be quite improbable. Even though we did get a massive move today, it's definitely an outlier day in regards to Mondays. So it's better to play them with some caution, either de-risk a little bit or be very, very picky for your setups. Like, i.e. in this case, I'm going to be only looking for my A+ setup, which is us delivering off of a M1 for value gap and then getting a clean scalp setup. And I don't believe, so obviously, actually, I do want to kind of go over this because I feel like some people may have taken this. So there's two reasons. Let me delete this right here. There is a setup that we could deem right here at 8:53.45. Let me clear this off real quick. let me draw up the fair value gap that you'd be looking in. So for the people newer to this that don't quite have the eye for the 15 second yet, 15 and 30 second, it's quite easy to get lost because it moves so quick. But once you spend some time with it, it's easy to adapt. You'll start to see it really, really easy and really, really smoothly and slower speed. But the two reasons that this is valid is obviously you can see we did displace below this low with the clean fair value gap. You would have been tagged in on the first candle. However, marked out right here, we have this 1 minute fair value gap signified by this yellow box right here that we displaced into and immediately displaced out of. We're looking for this to support price when price is in bullish structure and we're making higher highs and higher lows. So we can automatically deem this as unprobable as we are coming into a 1 minute fair value gap. And as I said, we're expecting that to support price as well as having equal highs right up here. So that is why that specific setup was not valid. And then getting into the next one, I believe, let me bump up to the 30 second here. I have that marked out for a reason. I believe this was a clean 30 second play. Art, do you remember this one? Like exactly? I think it did. Let me bump up. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I remember this one. So this is like in one of the, I think maybe it was my video yesterday. When we are in between both a bullish and a bearish fair value gap, obviously you can see we inverted this fair value gap right here. We have a bearish fair value gap right here on this yellow box. Let me delete this so it kind of cleans up the chart a little bit. When we are in questionable areas, even though this would have worked out, I still would not have taken this as I didn't. Neither did ARK because it's just a questionable area. When we are bouncing in between a bearish inefficiency on the 1 minute and a bullish inefficiency, that's going to be a toss-up for me. That's going to be a 50-50, and it's not something I personally want to engage in. So keeping that in mind, there was a relatively clean, I believe this was a 15-second setup. I do want to note today that the frequency was not super high. I guess I have not experienced a trend day like this in quite some time. And obviously you can see that this scalping setup in trend days like we had today may not be super ideal, but this is definitely an outlier. We are not always going to move as much as we did without basically any retracements back into the range. So getting into this next setup, Ark and I were actually kind of discussing this live with each other. And the reason we did not take this is because we had these triple equal lows present in this fair value gap right down here. Obviously, this yellow box right here is a M1 fair value gap. Let me scoot over a little bit. As you can see, we didn't close below it or anything. We actually closed the body right at the bottom of it on the M1. So no closure below it. So this is still a valid bullish efficiency or inefficiency. So we're looking for it to support price and send it up. And we did actually get a clean setup right here. But like I said, with these equal lows right here in this fair value gap, that's what prevented us from taking this. Although looking back at it now, it was honestly kind of a decent one because in reality, we can kind of identify this as IOFED, institutional order flow entry drill, and we also repriced this fair value gap here. And then we got our clean scalp setup right there with no bearish inefficiencies or anything. And we're actually approaching a 4 standard deviation on a smaller time frame, standard deviation projection. And then this was actually over here was the first play that both Ark and I took today. Let me go up to 30. It was actually a pretty clean 30-second play. So obviously looking at this right here, we have this bullish fair value gap right here that we inverse right here. We get a clean break in market structure right here. We have a fair value gap put in right there, got tagged in on the second candle. And this one was actually brutal. I mean, it went how many ticks? It was 2 ticks away from hitting 12 points. So, I mean, that's going to happen. It's part of the game. But I really, both of us had a high conviction that this was going to come down and take out some of these lows or reprice off this. But looking at the 1 minute, we can kind of identify, even though this is kind of counter order flow, there was enough room for it to reach down in here. Obviously, we had this bullish order block right here that, as you can see, supported price and sent it up. And stopped us at break even. And then this was the next play that both Ark and I took. Let me bump back down to the 15 second. It was after the 10:30 window. I will note that these two were the only 2 plays that I would have deemed within the time window as valid to take. This one, like I said, looking back at it now, it kind of would have made sense to take. I'm surprised. I think it's just because it was a no news Monday. We were being really, really picky on the setups that we wanted to take, which is not a problem. It's better to be picky than just clicking the button like every 2 minutes or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just about identifying the highest probable and what's in alignment with several different factors and going from there. But this one right here, if I pull over the 1 minute right here, we have this bearish fair value gap right here that we got a clean close above. You can see if we zoom in a little bit right on this candle right here. My mouse is acting really weird. On that displacement right up there, we got a clean close above it on the 1 minute. So I'm looking to see that as a inverse and take us up to this buy side level right up here. And as you can see, we did get a clean 15-second scalp off of that. We repriced off this fair value gap down here. Would have got tagged in on the first candle, and this one did only go 8.5 points. So this would have been a TP break even. And I believe that was the last setup before the really the morning session that we wrapped up. So with that in mind, whatever setups y'all took, either send me a screenshot or I'm going to try and put y'all on to where you can actually talk and we can kind of discuss some stuff. Let's see. I wonder if, let me go to, I don't know if I can edit it in real time. Oh, I can, I think. Member. Speak. Save changes. All right, see if y'all can hop on the mic now. I think I just changed the settings, so y'all should be able to. No. Edit channel. Permissions. Member. Allow members to connect. Allow members to talk in the voice channel. I don't know. I don't think it says no permission, might be on admin only. I changed a setting in edit channel to allow y'all to speak. Let me scroll down. Save changes. Try now. Let me close out the chat and see if there's something I can do over here. Oh, why is it muting them? I want y'all to be able to talk so I can. In the meantime, if you're like finding some video or some screenshots or something, you can go ahead. You should be able to send those in here. Remember. Or just give me a timestamp. Yeah, that's what I'm on advanced permissions right now. See if you can change it. It still shows them as muted. Let me open up the chat again. Can you go over the short at 10:21 EST? So 9:21. Yeah, so I don't know if you were in here yet for that one. I think that was someone asked right before I started the video. So obviously right here, what are we still holding? Let me go over on the 1 minute. So we have a 1 minute bullish for value gap right here, right? As I always say, if there has to be enough room for us to displace down and reach at least 12 points before coming into that bearish or bullish inefficiency, right? So in this case right here, I believe this is a setup you were talking about. What are we still respecting that bullish 1 minute fair value gap. So this would not be a valid short. You know, make sure you're in alignment with 1 minute structure. That's the most important aspect of this, is you want to be in alignment with what the 1 minute is telling you. If we're respecting bullish fair value gaps and we're displacing out of them, you want to be seeking scalp longs rather than scalp shorts, unless there's enough room. Like I said, and I think in a couple videos ago, that if you're newer to this, just don't even try to take the trades that are coming into bearish. Like if price is in a buy program, don't even try to take the counter trend trades. Just try and align yourself with the bullish scalps. Hey, P, I got a question about the time window. There have been several setups I've seen in backtesting live trading that happened between 9:30 and 9:40 that I pass on. So I feel like I said this in a video before, but if there's no 9 a.m. news, I'll sometimes entertain before 9:40. If it's clean enough and like, if it's an A+ setup, so if we're delivering off like a 1 minute fair value gap, like i.e. if we get some manipulation down and we get a clean move up and we're coming back into a 1 minute fair value gap and then we displace back up and get a scalp, 100%. But it's got to be a good quality setup. But like I was saying, if there's no 9 a.m. news, absolutely. But if there's 9 a.m. news, I'm waiting until literally 9 a.m. unless it's like 15 minutes before, if that makes sense. AP, would you have taken a long on the 15-second? On 15-second, 30-second with equal highs above and delivering from an M5 for a gap, but you have an M1 bearish for a gap. So, was this today? Obviously, we are going to have a premium in this case, but if this model presents itself in the future with a valid model. So if we're delivering off of like a 5 minute lunchtime, okay, can you give me a timestamp? I'll kind of go over it real quick. Let me get out a replay so it doesn't screw up a whole bunch of stuff. 12:30, is that EST or CST? EST, so 11:30 my time. Is it this one right here? I think so. This one, or is it 50? Okay. So this one, let me bump up. So obviously, let me scoot over on the 1 minute. Where am I at? Right here. There's that bearish for gaps right there. Delivering off a 5 minute. Get the setup. Where do we get it? Right here. Would that have been just a TP break even? No? 6 points right there. Let me look at the 5 minutes. So I can just kind of mark this out right here. So this is kind of something a little bit, I wouldn't say advanced, but kind of on your own interpretation, because think of it this way. Price, what are we in? We're in a buy program where we're continuing to displace higher and making higher highs. So understanding that this right down here, when we come down and take this liquidity point, we can honestly, let me do something real quick because this might align with some standard deviations. I'm just kind of looking at it right now. Look at that. Notice how we get a clean close above it where that candle supports price. To the tick. Not that that really matters. But like I was saying, if we're continuing to make higher highs and price is in a clear buy program and we're delivering off of a M5 fair value gap, in this case, like you said, I would be hesitant about this in some cases, but I would still personally semi-like it. It's not going to completely disregard the trade because obviously, like I was saying, if price is in a buy program, I'm expecting these to get disrespected. Does that make sense? And that's where I semi-like to toss in standard deviations. But think of it this way, like what's going to hold more power? 5 minute. In this case, not that I even really necessarily use it. I'll peek at it sometimes and see if we have any like big fair value gaps or something. But in this specific case, I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is actually a really, really good play. This is a tiny market maker buy model. CISD right here once we close above these down close candles. I don't know why my mouse is acting so weird. CISD right there. First leg accumulation, second leg completed. Have you done any testing during lunch session? I have not, no. I'm in central time zone, so I am sleeping like a baby during lunch session, to be quite honest. Question on 8:53.30 on the 15-second chart. Took a short there with one contract. Didn't have it set for 3, but would love your feedback for entry. 8:53 CST. I believe I already covered that one. But on the 15 start, took a short there with one contract. I'm assuming you're talking about this setup right here. Right? Or are you talking about this one? I don't think this one would have filled up here anyway. Yeah, equal highs up top. That's the first one to kind of neglect. 850. Is that CST? Yeah. Okay, you're on center time. Okay, good to know. Yeah, equal highs. That's something I want to explicitly explain is December, you could get away with scrape and buy when we have equal highs and stuff put in. When we have very, very high volatility, you don't want to mess around with that. I have that rule in place for a reason. If we have equal highs above us, even if there is enough room for price to come up and sweep them, like with like 4 or 5 points of room, still going to be invalid to me because I know the likelihood of us inducing those equal highs is going to exceed that amount, if that makes sense. I want to see more M1 bullish as seen here. Oh, I was seeing more M1 bullish. I didn't see this equal. Yeah, you always got to pay attention. Always got to pay attention. Like I said, it's easy to kind of lose your spot on such a low time frame, but if you spend just a couple weeks with it, just tape read it for a lot. Have you played around with different stop loss PTs? No, but some people did do some data on I think it was a 4-point stop. And it was actually pretty nice, not gonna lie. I think it was still like a 60-something% win rate, which is crazy to me. Which, I mean, it makes sense because the high probable setups, like, they'll have like ticks of drawdown. Simply reverse trade would have been your entry target. Honestly, yeah. I got TP1 from it, but that was purely. I think so, yeah. Yeah, 2 points of heat. That's what I'm saying. Like the highest probable setups, you kind of almost instantly know when you're not in a high probable setup. When it comes up like 6-7 points against you. Sorry, but what am I looking at? It flew up after. PM session was the best today. I was looking for some higher time frame plays. I thought we were gonna get a clean reversal because we came into a daily breaker. So I wasn't really specifically looking at the scalping model. Did you actually trade it in PM session? How'd you do? We're making good time on this. I like this. Good questions y'all are asking too. All right, I'll see you to CSF. 2 trades, both winners. The runner was 24. Nice, man. Love that. Love that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like as we're starting to see an increase in movement in price, that's when I begin entertaining PM. When we're having like, when it takes like trades are like 20, 30 minutes, no, I'm not going to entertain that. I want quick, clean scalps. I don't want to be in a trade for 30 minutes. If you're taking more than 3 cons, if you're taking more than 3 cons with, would you rather take partials off? So this is something I was talking to Ark about, I believe yesterday, was it really comes down to kind of position sizing almost, especially if you're using Apex. Like if you're, God forbid, you have like a 300K account and you're using like 10, 15 cons, not that you should be, but if you are, it would make sense to scale at some at 6 because the intraday trailing, absolutely. But if you're in like, I have 20, 50K PA accounts. Nice. Would you rather take partial? I think if you're using like 1 or 2 cons, I'd say play it smart and just go break even at 6. That's what I do. I'll see you tomorrow, Magic. Golly, man. 4 to 6 on a 50K account? Micros. Oh, okay. Good. If you're playing with micros, I thought you meant minis. I was like, what are you doing? No, yeah. So if you're playing with 4 to 6 micros, I just scale at 12 and 18. Just go break even at 6. Over time, over a series of trades, it will make sense. Yeah, so yeah. Yep. I also want to show y'all something. You know how in the video I explained using my standard deviations. When we close above the -2 and 2 standard deviation, we're gonna support price and send us up to -4. As you can see right in here on the 5-minute, we get a clean body close above, and you can see we barely wick back into it and then just rip up to 4 standard deviation right up here. Money tells you where to engage and where we are likely to go. Yeah, 20, 50K PAs is nice. That's some good stuff. 1 Mio funded. Can't complain. Hard to see the right chart. What do you mean? Oh, hard to see the right chart. Really? You mean it may be flipped. Let me put it like dead middle. Can you see it better now? I'm just gonna start doing it dead middle. Now the color's loaded. It's blurry too. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it comes and goes. Yeah, it should be 60 FPS. I don't know if that's interesting. It could be because I'm recording a YouTube video at the same time. Honestly, it's probably what it is. I'm overloading my like when I wake up before I put my glasses on. Yeah, but I mean, any other questions y'all have? Any other setups? Like I said today, like if you're not like your eye's not tuned yet for it, it's definitely easy to get on the wrong side. But overall, even valid setups, there was very, very few today. Nothing special about today. I think it's a connection issue because I mean, I have really, really fast internet. Didn't take enough to ask much. Hey, that's not a problem. That's a good day. Yeah, trend days are very, very hard for scalps. Even like if I was trading the 5-minute today, I want to say 5-minute, but if I was trading like M1 or something, like a normal setup, I would have been uncomfortable taking a move because we were so far in premium. Like you can't predict trend days like this, honestly. Inversions were through plays. Oh, tough plays. Yeah, no, that's what Ark and I were like. Yeah, very, very sloppy on the on the low time frame. Also the one where we got, yeah, no, we kept, it was pretty ridiculous. I could only do our AP, you take any non 15-second scalps. We took a 30-second one. That was, let me go up to it. Let me go back to it. This was the first one that we, what on earth is my, no shot. My mouse just died. So that's good. Hey, 1 second. I'll be back. I'm going to go change battery. It'll take me like a minute. What? All right, we back. That honestly was probably why my mic or my mouse was acting weird. Yeah, now it's moving. Okay, sweet. I thought it was a connection thing. Do they have any questions while I was gone? Okay. Okay. Where, Brendan? I'll show you that 30-second I was talking about. I'll let it load for a second too because it appears it's getting a little bit blurry. This is the 30-second one we took today. I'll let it load for a second so it gets clear. Let me know when it's clear. Stop. Yeah. Yeah, but no, this is the Brennan. This is the 30-second scalp we took. So right here, close below that fair value gap, inverse, break a structure, scalp entry. This one was 2 ticks away from hitting 12 points. AP, would you kill the trade if you get an opposite fair value gap with structure breaking? No. If I'm in a trade, I'm gonna let it do its course. I'm in the trade for a reason. There's no point in manually intervening because you don't know with certainty what it's going to do next. Unless it's just a terrible trade, which is very rare. Yeah, because there's really nowhere where you can draw a line where you're like, if I was just like, yeah, if you feel like it's a bad trade, just reverse it. I think disaster would happen. You can't really do that on low time frame scalping, in my opinion. Some people may disagree, but I wholeheartedly think that's true. I think every variation of changing the parameters will simply reduce the pain you're trying to avoid in that way. Switching to 6, they all at 18. Switch to 18, they all go 6. It all happened. Try to just understand the environment and understand that you don't know. Yep. Correct. Exactly. And like that's part of the thing is like I'm trying to present something to y'all to where there's really not much thinking in it. Like you shouldn't be thinking where you should be taking off when you're in the trade. That should already be predetermined. Even high time frame plays, you should know where you're going to pull the trade off, where you're going to close, where you're going to go break even, etc. All right. Any other questions regarding setups? Bull, I'm actually curious because you said you were getting some inverse plays. What time were they? Were they an AM? Were they like 1 minute, 5 minute? Because I know it was earlier in the morning. It was pretty sloppy with some inverses. The one that I posted earlier was PM. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one. That was clean. Yeah, no, like when I posted in the morning, I was like I was saying earlier, when I'm expecting a trending AM, I did not expect this, being brutally honest. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, just I'm telling y'all, it's really, when you really look at it, it's quite simple. Just align yourself with M1. Let that paint the picture for you. Displacing into a fair value gap, don't take scalp shorts. Displacing out of, take scalp longs. Close through an M1 fair value gap, look for scalp shorts. Vice versa. To use this entity, which basically have a bias to only look for trades in there. In a sense, yes. It just kind of like I said, it's not needed. It's just something I like doing because it kind of gives me some extra confidence. Especially with scalping, you don't need a bias with scalping. But when we get in areas like the -2 and -2.5 area, that's where I become a little bit cautious. I like to see if we're going to reject that area and take scalp shorts out of it, or if we close through it and take scalp longs out of it or above it. That's really the only standard deviation that I put a big emphasis on. And I mean, in a sense, it does give a clear draw. It just all flows together. But yeah, I'll be the first to say you don't need a bias to scalp the 15 second. You just need to be aligned with structure. All right, we'll get a couple more questions and then call it a night, and I'll get this posted on YouTube for the people that couldn't tune in, and then we'll make this a daily thing, by the way. Couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, no, I like these because I like doing the YouTube recaps, but like having to respond to comments is kind of, it's not a pain, but like I'd rather talk to people like in real time. And yeah, y'all get way more feedback. What is it? Yeah. Tia, yeah, I'm gonna, all these recaps like this is all gonna be uploaded to my YouTube. You'll get a link. There will be a bot that posts a link in the AP trades on the free trading floor. Yeah, feel free. This is an open floor for questions. But the first one dig deeper but left a wick. I think I get what he's saying. Yum, are you saying like if the first candle displaces above that swing high point, but the second one breaks, but we already have a wick through it? Oh, Tia, these, I hope I'm saying it right. I think I am. Yeah, well, so these are actually all this is all just gonna be combined in the recap, because I know some people like seeing these questions because a lot of people have similar questions. Okay, so Yama, yeah, if we have, I'll try and find an example. I don't know if there was one specifically today, but if we have like this high, okay, this is actually a good example. It's not specific, but obviously we have this high right here. This is not a great example, but this is an example of what you're saying. If we wick through right here and get a clean close, I'm just going to disregard it. That's something y'all need to understand, is the frequency of this is so high where, like, if there's something that's not following the rule set that I've given you, don't take it. Simple. Yeah, something like that, where the first looks higher. Yeah. To me, that's telling me that we're getting sloppy delivery. I like everything to be clean. That's also why 2 candles is not random. When price is wanting to deliver with speed, it's going to immediately reprice. No, two. I could say two is my lucky number. I was telling Ark that yesterday. I was like, for now on, I'm just gonna tell people two is my favorite number, and that's why I put two candles. But no, that's exactly why. It's because when prices want to deliver with speed, it's gonna immediately rebalance. So first, shouldn't wick. Yeah, no, it's got to be a clean. Like all the setups, like in all my YouTube videos, it's a clean candle close through it. Right here. Right here. Second candle. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. There's not a lot of room for error on low time frame charts. But once you can nail down the rule set and have it in your mind at all times, you're gonna be smooth sailing. Yeah, literally. Yeah, exactly. That is something we're all Yeah, no, that's just something that comes with time. I mean, really, like, it looks easy when you're not on the charts, but when you're in real time trading, like, it's just understanding that the market's always going to be here. There's always going to be another setup. If you miss one, who cares? Like, Ark's told me yesterday, like, he's gotten up, he had to go do some other stuff, and then came back and missed the setup. I mean, it's just it's going to happen. You're not going to hit every single trade. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Should I be on the 15 or 30? So kind of how I decide what time frame I want to use is kind of what's the cleanest that's presenting to me. So like I'll scan both of these, like on this one right here. Like I can just, it's weird to say, but I can kind of tell when it's going to be on the 15 or 30. So like in this case, when I was on the 15 at this time, let me go and replay so it doesn't jump all the way back, right? So when I was on the 15-second chart for this specific setup, when I saw this move right here and we didn't get tagged in on that candle or that candle, I was like, all right, this has to be a 30-second setup just based on the size of that candle. Does that make sense? So quickly jumped up to 30-second, saw that we had a clean setup right there, tossed a limit in and got filled. But I will say, now that we're getting some volatility back in, 30 seconds, it's starting to look pretty damn good again. All right, we'll get one more question. Well, I'll shut her down at 7:20, so ask away. Got some football to watch. Yeah, I hope y'all are getting some value from this. I feel like this is a lot better than just YouTube videos. I appreciate you. Go Huskies. We don't like Michigan. Oh no, they're up 7-3. Disgusting. Right on, Brendan. That's awesome. By the way, is my audio good? Is it loud enough? Awesome stream, boys. Yeah, I'm glad y'all are in here. Audio is good. Perfect. I like to hear that. It's awesome. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Anything I can provide. I mean, like I said, this is why I wanted to do this. Is I want to be able to answer any questions you have in real time instead of being hours later. Yeah, I'll see if I can fix something. It's likely because I'm recording a YouTube video at the same time. So, yeah, I'm still recording. Big Michigan play. All right, I'm going to go watch, and then I'm going to make them do bad. I'm going to be their bad luck. All right, very good session. Thanks. All right, I appreciate all of y'all joining in. Like I said, this is going to be a daily thing unless I just have something pop up randomly. But with that being said, I will catch y'all in the next recap tomorrow, 6:30. We'll figure out if this is a good time for everybody and then kind of go from there. If we need to adjust time frame, I'm open. Like I said, I trade for a living, so I got all the time in the world to adjust as needed. So we'll go from there, but I will catch y'all in the next one. And y'all have a good night. Enjoy the game. Get some good sleep. And get ready for a good session tomorrow.